What is going on, everyone? So here is my review of the Fantastic Four movie. It's been out for a while now, so I thought I'd come up on here today and talk about it. So my overall opinion of this movie was, it wasn't that bad. It's kind of, I'm noticing sort of a trend Marvel is having now with certain movies. As you saw with my review of the Thunderbolts, I liked it. Kind of reminded me how Marvel used to be back in Phase 1. It wasn't like the greatest movie, but it was like, you know what, I kind of enjoyed this better than the previous ones. And overall, I had the same kind of feeling with the Fantastic Four movie. Wasn't the best one by far. However, I did enjoy it, and I feel like Marvel's starting to get like a pattern sort of, or they're starting to like get the idea of what they want to make now as far as with stories go. The cast was great. I don't really have too many notes for that. But honestly, it was kind of nice seeing a different version of the Thing and Johnny Storm, and not Johnny Storm, but the Human Torch, and just everyone else in general. Because I've seen the other Fantastic Four movies that were made by Fox, and when I see this one, we see a different. We see them sort of like in a different light. We see Ben sort of like was like even more acclimated into his life as the Thing. He's adjusted really well with it and everything. And we see Johnny. He was sort of like he wasn't as cocky as we've seen like in the other movies. This one he was still cocky, but a little more like hey, I want to know what my next thing is. I want to try and be like, hey, yeah, sort of like I don't know, like he wanted to try and stay relevant with everything. At least that's how I kind of got the vibe off him sometimes. Reed Richards, it was kind of nice seeing him just doing like his whole professor thing, be on TV, making stuff. We see him thinking about the multiverse and everything, which is nice. Then we see Sue Storm, leading everything, just being a boss, and that was just awesome. And then we get the baby. CGI for this baby at times was not very good. I believe they did use a real baby for some parts, but overall, give or take what your opinion is with that. Galactus was interesting. I kind of liked it, and I'm hoping we see more, especially of this version of Galactus and possibly any others we will see, because this one was nice. I kind of liked how they did it with this one. And then we have the Silver Surfer as well. The whole thing with the Herald, thing that she did, that was interesting. Seeing the trailers and then seeing it in theaters, it felt like a little more intense, which I really did like. So overall, I would probably give this movie an 8 out of 10. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't the greatest. Not saying Marvel is back to how we're getting some good movies, but you know what? They keep it up. Eventually, we'll get that like perfect 10 movie, or I'll give it a 9. But either way, Marvel keeps making movies like this. I think we're all gonna be a lot more happier. And I say that because I did not like Ant-Man in the Quantum Realm that much, and Thor: Love and Thunder, it was, those two movies were just because it's like, yeah, it was entertaining at some it was entertaining with some things, but like overall, I feel like it could have been more and should have been more. But yeah. So, what do you guys think of the Fantastic Four movie? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Do you feel like I do, like Marvel's starting to get better with producing all these movies? Let me know in the comments below. So until next time, later.